Okay, so this one we are going to evaluate the indefinite integral of 3x minus 1 on square root of x or exponent 2. So let me begin by writing my solution. Okay, so let me write the whole expression again. So I have my integral 3x minus 1 on square root of x all squared dx. Good. Now for this question, there are so many methods that we can use, but one of the popular methods that we can use is the use substitution. But in our case, I don't want us to use the use substitution. I want us to solve this algebraically. So we are going to use algebraic. We are going to solve it algebraically. And we are going to apply some rules or properties in algebraic expression to solve this. So before we take the integral of this, I want us to look at how to express the whole of this so that the whole question becomes easy for us to find our answer. So we all know that if we have 3x minus 1 all divided by root x all squared. So we know that in algebraic expression, if you have expression like this, let's say a plus b all squared, we know that we can write it as what? That means we are taking what square, we are going to square this, multiply 2 by this, and square this. So it means we are getting this. So we are getting two what? Different what terms in what different parentheses. So we have a plus b. Good. So we know that we can write it as this. So we are going to apply the same here. So if we understand that this can be expressed as this, then we are going to apply the same here. So this one too, I'm going to write it as I've done here. So I'll write my 3x minus root what? So we have x. Then I'll write another one, which is the same as 3x minus 1 on what? Square root of x. Good. So once we have this, that means what? We can expand the bracket. So you remember when we're doing what algebraic expression, when we are doing expansion or opening the bracket in what algebraic expression, you remember what we did. So if you can recall, then that means what we are going to open the bracket, meaning that we are going to use what is in this first bracket to multiply what is in the second bracket term by term. So that means we are going to take the first term in the first bracket to multiply the whole term in the second bracket. Have you gotten that? Good. So I will just pick my first term, which is 3x, and multiply by what? The 3x in the second what bracket. So that I will get, so 3x times 3x will give me what? So I have 9x squared, 3x times negative what? 1 on root 3. So I'm going to get what? 3x all divided by what? Square root of x. So I'm done with this. I'm now going to what? Use this to multiply this. So 1 on root x times 3x gives me what? Negative 3x all divided by square root of x. Right? Great. So once I'm done with this one, then I will use this to multiply this. The same procedure. So negative 1 on square root of x times negative 1 on square root, because this is what? Negative. So I'm going to get plus So numerator times numerator gives me what? 1. Denominator times denominator gives me what? Now remember, or you can also recall when we're doing set in commas, we said that whenever we multiply what? Or we find a product of square root, if the figures in the radical sign are the same, so the square root will what? Terminate, because we are multiplying two what? Radical signs. So the radical sign, which is the square root, will terminate, leaving what? One of the x's. Have you gotten that? So we have this and this. So once the radical sign or the square root will terminate, then we'll be left with what? X. Have you gotten that? Great. So let's move on. Now let's further hot simplify this, because we have this and this. Since they are the same, then we can add the two. Therefore, I can write it as 9x squared. So 3x plus 3x gives me what? 6. But because they are all negative, so I'm getting what? Negative 6x, all divided by what? Square root of x plus 1 on x. Great. So we are moving on gradually. So let's see if we can further simplify this. So when we get to this point, then I will write my 9x again minus. Then here I can write it as this: x dot. The dot means what? Times. I mean times. I'm talking about what? Product. That is the dot product of this. So we'll have 1 on what? Square root of x. Create plus 1 on what? X. Good. So if we have this, note that this can be written as, so if I have this 1 on square root of x, it can be written as 1 on what? X is exponent what? Half. So if I'm to find the inverse of this, then I'm going to get x exponent negative half. Have you gotten that? Good. So if we understand it this way, then we can write it as 9x squared minus 6. Then we have x dot. So this one, when we expressed it, we got this. So we are going to write this as what? Negative exponent negative half. Have we gotten that? Good. Plus 1 on x. Good. So once we have this, then we can further do this. Now, the law of the indices, because we have 1 here, there's 1 here. So remember, in law of indices, if we have this, a times a 2 exponent 2, because the base are the same, and here is what? Exponent 1. So we only add what? The exponent, which gives me what? 3. So that is what I'm going to do here. Because the x and x are the base are the same, there's 1 here, so I'm only going to add this. So I can further write this as x 9x squared minus 6. Then here will be x exponent 1 minus this. Because it is minus, that's why I didn't bring the addition, but we are adding. Okay, good. So we can have this plus 1 on s. Great. So we can just add them. Then we further write 9x squared minus 6. So if we should add this, then we are getting what? 6x exponent what? Half plus 1 on x. Great. So once we have this, then we can what? Further move on and then find the integral. So I can put this in the integral. So I have my integral 9x squared minus 6x exponent half plus 1 on x. So this is what we are going to integrate now. Good. So this is the question. So the question was given as this, but because we have algebraically expressed this, then this is what we are going to integrate now. So we are going to integrate this term by term, because here becomes what sum and difference of what integration. So we are going to integrate this, then we integrate this, and then we integrate this, because since there are three terms there. So if we are to integrate the first term, which is 9x squared, so I'm going to apply the general rule. Remember, in the general rule, if you have this if you have ax exponent what n, the general rule will give you what, so you only what add 1 to the exponent. So it is going to, if you are to integrate this, then you are going to get this ax then exponent n plus 1 all divided by what n plus 1. You get that? So we are going to apply this general what rule of integration. So if I'm doing that, then here I will get my 9 divided by what 3 times x exponent what 3. I've gotten that because if I add 1 to this, I'm getting 3, and divide by 3. That is what the general rule what states. Okay, so let me do this one. Now here, because of the fraction, let me do it this way, step by step, so that you don't get yourself confused. So I can write here as this. So I have x exponent what half plus 1 all divided by half plus 1. I'm doing this so that you don't get confused. Okay, all right, plus 1 on x. Great. So here I think I can get here as what, so 9 divided by 3 will give me what, 3x exponent what 3. So 3x cubed minus, then I have here as 6x. So if I add this, I'm getting 3 on 2 all divided by 3 on 2, then plus my what 1. Now when we got here, yes, we didn't what good. So let's do the question here. We didn't integrate this, so let's do the integration here. If we are to integrate 1 on x, then we are getting what, ln x. So let me do this one here as this, because I didn't integrate this. So let me put this here, the x code plus this, so that I will do the integration here. So if you are to integrate this x, then we are getting ln x good plus our arbitrary what constant. Good. So this is what we have. We can further write this as what, 3x cubed minus, so if we should simplify this, then we are getting 4x exponent 3 on 2 plus ln of x plus the c. So this is our answer, or we can write it as 3x cubed minus 4 root x cubed plus ln of x plus c. Great. So this gives us what the answer to the question. So very simple. I just wanted us to go through this what algebraic so that we get the answer. It's not always that we use what use substitution. So sometimes we can also what use this expression and then we get answer. Very simple. All right, so I'm your facilitator, Evans. Okay, the name of the channel is Mazris TV. So you can also go to the comment section. You can add your submission. If you have any question, you can leave your question there, then later we give you the answer. So don't forget to subscribe to my channel, like it and share. So see you next time. Thank you.